What does it actually mean to be a light in a dark world? It's a phrase you hear a lot. Well, today, we're diving into a study guide that really unpacks this powerful metaphor and what it suggests about living a life that truly stands out. So, everything we're going to talk about today really comes back to this one single phrase, shine as lights in the world. But what does that actually look like in practice? According to our source, it's not a one-time thing. It's a journey that starts with an inner spark and grows into something everyone can see. Okay, so first things first. If we're supposed to be a light, the obvious question is, where does this light come from? The source is really clear on this. It's not something we can just whip up on our own. It has a very, very specific origin. Here's a good way to think about it. The moon doesn't have any light of its own, right? It just reflects the sun. And that's pretty much the idea the source material is getting at. This light we're talking about isn't some innate human quality we just have. It's a reflection of a connection with Jesus, who is called the true light. All right, so the light has a source. We've got that covered. But what's our part in all of this? This is where it gets really interesting, because the text dives into a passage that, at first glance, seems like a complete paradox. Yeah, you heard that right. Work it out, because God is working in you. See how that might sound a little contradictory? It's like, wait a minute, am I responsible or is God? The text actually spends a good amount of time untangling this relationship between our effort and divine action. And here's how the source resolves that apparent paradox. It separates the roles. It's not a contradiction. It's a partnership. God's part is the internal stuff. He works in you, recreates you, empowers you. Our part is to then work out what He has already put in. It's a divine tag team, essentially. And what about that phrase, fear and trembling? It sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? But the source completely reframes it. This isn't about being terrified of judgment. Instead, it's about having this deep, profound respect and awe, a sense of wonder in God's presence that naturally leads you to want to live in a certain way. So we've established the inner dimension, where the light comes from and how it works. But what good is a light if nobody can see it, right? So now the source shifts focus to how this internal reality becomes a very real, very external witness to the world around us. According to the source, this is how that light becomes visible. And it's not about these huge, flashy gestures. It's about cultivating a character that stands in sharp contrast to its surroundings. It's the little things, doing things without complaining, intentionally rejecting the world's negativity, and holding on to something true. And this just brilliantly illustrates the whole point. The text suggests that the greater the moral darkness in the culture around us, the more distinct and visible the light of a different way of living actually becomes. The contrast itself is what makes the light so powerful. But let's be real. Living that differently, standing out so clearly against the background, well, that doesn't just happen. It doesn't come without a cost. And the source describes this cost using the ancient and really potent language of sacrifice. Okay, so to get the next point, we need a quick history lesson. A drink offering, or a libation, was this ancient practice where you'd pour out something valuable, like wine or oil. It was an act of complete devotion, an offering you could never take back. So with that image in mind, listen to this. The Apostle Paul, literally in prison and facing his own execution, uses that exact metaphor. He sees the giving of his own life as that ultimate offering, the final pouring out in service to his cause. But here's the key takeaway. The source makes it clear this isn't just for martyrs. This idea is broadened to apply to everyday life. It's presented as a daily commitment, a conscious choice to pour out your life, your energy, and your resources for a cause that's bigger than just yourself. You know, all this talk about shining and sacrifice can still feel a little abstract. So to bring it all back down to earth, the source gives us two real-world examples of people who actually embodied this kind of life. First up is Timothy. And what's amazing is what Paul praises him for. It's not some incredible miracle or a mind-blowing speech. It's something much more fundamental, his character, his genuine, sincere concern for other people.
And here's the crucial point. Timothy's character wasn't just assumed. The text says it was proven. It was forged and tested and shaped by the hard knocks of life. And through all that, it was shown to be the real deal, totally genuine.
The second example is a man named Epaphroditus. And listen to the powerful string of titles Paul uses to describe him. A brother in the faith, a partner in the work, and even a fellow soldier in the struggle.
If Timothy was the model of proven character, Epaphroditus is the embodiment of that living sacrifice we were talking about.
This was a man who literally risked his own life, not for glory, but to serve others and the cause he believed in. The source holds him up as someone truly worthy of our respect. So, to wrap it all up, the argument in the source material is that shining as a light isn't a single action, but a whole process. It's a journey. It starts with an inner connection, becomes visible through an outward contrast with the world, requires real sacrifice, and is ultimately proven through consistent, tested character.
And this brings us to the final, provocative thought the source leaves us with. It takes this ancient message and reframes it as a very modern question. In an age that pressures all of us to conform, to just blend in, what does it really mean to stand apart and to shine?